Basement Bookers Podcast.
What's up? It's your boys, the Basement Bookers Podcast, on a brand new episode of the Basement Bookers Podcast. This is the Money in the Bank review. It's a forest review. And what it means is we go match by match and think of, each participant, they're a branch on a tree. So whatever they're connected to, like Dominik Mysterio versus Octagon, it's like, oh, Judgment Day, and Octagon, oh, AAA, the thing, the Worlds Collide, okay,
If they are.
All the things. I am your once and present basement champion. Basement chair has all the hard plastic right here. And it's all because I guessed better than the other guy. And that other man is a once future salty Rich there is. The most richest, baldest, saltiest basement booker after what I would say was, you know what? Don't take my word for it.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
I didn't say it. He said it. Some other people might have said it. I don't know. They didn't want to be, recorded or anything. But here we are.
Heard it straight from Cody Rhodes. Homelander.
I fight everybody on this Homelander thing. He's a bad man. You don't want Cody Rahim to be that. It's just not, it doesn't work that way, right? So you're going to have to...
Do you think if Cody ever turns heel, he'll do the Cody Rahim?
No.
It would.
That's one of those I don't know. That's like Southpaw wrestling thing.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see that in real wrestling where there's graps. All the graps you can muster. Right? So let's get on. Like and subscribe if you want more of this. And I'm telling you, it's gonna get better. All right, we just started. Okay, don't worry. We just gonna get the ball rolling with any match on here. So I'm just gonna pick the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Some might say the first match. I didn't say it, but it is a fact, I believe.
Yep,
certainly
that was the first match.
Certainly, Rich Perez, Stephanie Vaquer, Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Naomi, the winner, Rhea Ripley, and Julia. Now, this was called right down the middle, Booker to Booker. Naomi wasn't a surprise to us. It was her time. The story all led to there. Months of, and here we are.
Yep, there were opportunities for them to swerve us. They didn't take those opportunities, and that's fine. We said it before. This was a stacked Money in the Bank. Really, any one of these women could have won, but we picked Naomi. Naomi was the one that won. It made sense.
Naomi is a fantastic person. I'm glad she won. Not a great actress, but that's different. She is a pro wrestler. She was in that Queen of the Ring movie. I saw her in it. She had lines, and it's like, why was she in there? They didn't even use her for wrestling.
That's unfortunate.
She played a wrestler, but why did the wrestler wrestle? That's besides the point. Okay, so, look, anybody could have won it. But really, realistically, it was Naomi. Like I said, this was different from the men's, where it's like, not one person on here, it's like, nah, that's never, no. But with Money in the Bank men's, we were able to be with certainty and correct on that as well. So what do you reckon here, buddy? And of course, all the connected things you want to discuss about that.
So this sets Rhea up in the Queen of the Ring tournament to do the job for someone. She's not going to win the Queen of the Ring, I don't think.
I don't think she needs it.
She doesn't need it. That's the thing. She doesn't need it. She at any point can just win a match and be called and have it called a qualifier, and she's number one contender, and it's believable because she's the single most over woman on the roster. Period. Tiffany's getting close, ish. But
wow,
think about Rhea. She's absolutely believable. She's a badass.
We did have qualifiers for the Queen of the Ring. That's connected to the women here. Roxanne Perez has already qualified. I believe.
I figured that. Was what was going to happen.
So there we go with that. The others have qualifiers later, I think. We won't talk about that. That's a whole other thing. I think Jade's going to win that probably. Anything on the women's Money in the Bank situation? I think Charlotte could use a Queen of the Ring win, honestly. But I think it's just going to be Jade.
Good. She is in it. Charlotte's bracket is her, Alexa Bliss, Candice LeRae, and Chelsea Green. 3 of those 4 women can win it.
Chelsea Green would be cool.
Chelsea would be cool. Unfortunately, she's in the same match as Charlotte, so we might make the
Doesn't
call.
look good for her, is what you're saying.
Right. I would say Charlotte really Charlotte or Chelsea. Honestly, actually, Alexa's probably third. But we're setting up for Night of Champions, the King of the Ring tournament, the Queen of the Ring tournament. I think Julia and Stephanie are going to be featured pretty well in there also. But definitely too early to make any real calls other than Jade at least is going to advance her qualifier.
Yeah, I need to see where the leaves are blowing on that, where the tea leaves say.
Yeah. Her qualifier, it's Jade versus Michin, Nia Jax, and Piper Niven.
Okay. So, speaking of tea, we're going to have Lyra Valkyria, Becky Lynch. It happened. New IC champion. The man has now held every women's title with the exception of the United States Championship. I'm pretty sure that's coming next. So, Rich, there is impressions. Anything about the connecting tissue here? What's going on there?
It went exactly as we thought it would. There was a little bit of shenanigans. Becky may have allegedly grabbed the tights for the pinfall, but she definitely was rubbing her nose in it with having her repeatedly hold her arm up in victory, and Lyra hit a suplex at the end there to the sore loser, but also you don't have to rub my face in it kind of thing. As far as next things, you mentioned it. Bayley's back.
Look, I could use the Homelander thing for that too. They were there. I mean, she was there, and it was. Here we go. I think we're getting a 3-way here. I think we're getting Bayley. I think we're getting Lyra. I think we're getting Becky, and it's IC title. You know what? Let's do that at Evolution. Let's do that.
I just
Evolution.
hope Lyra doesn't win.
I hope Bayley wins.
Yeah.
I hope Bayley wins the belt.
That'd be great.
What else? So what else does that connect to? All this tissue. I think that's the triple threat. Evolution. Let's build up to that. Honestly. The 3 of them need to be intertwined. They need to be connected. This needs to be the thing. Or, Becky just retains in the triple threat, and Bailey has to chase. That's Lyra's rematch, technically, and that's it.
Yeah, they can do that too because triple threat, anything goes. Becky's gonna break out a kendo stick probably.
You could even have
Bailey will
it
do the
that
chair.
Becky is in the group. She's a part of Seth Rollins' plan. That maybe they help somehow.
The power.
There's no fucking power. Okay.
You have all the power here on the podcast with the Basement Championship.
You're only saying that to be correct. You would never say that otherwise.
Duh.
I will not be manipulated, by the way. That's not cool.
Just saying.
Yeah, no, I hear you. For sure. But I just don't know. Even without the belt, I got power. Listen, we all have power here. We're all powerful together. The WWE universe. Jesus Christ. All right, so Octagon Junior. I'm sorry for the disrespect. Versus Dominik Mysterio. Dirty Dom retains. Who would have thought? Everybody.
Not even a 5-minute match.
No, but a big exposure for Octagon Junior on the Money in the Bank.
Good showing. Kind of like
showing out.
Kind of like the Joe Hendry thing at Mania. It's like you getting beat, but here's a stage. Here's a platform. See what you can do.
I mean, one of these is wrestling Randy Orton at WrestleMania, and the other is wrestling Dominik Mysterio on a Money in the Bank for 5 minutes.
Right, but it's the first time a AAA contracted talent wrestled for the WWE IC title, as far as I know.
You know what? We'll put that in the bin. If somebody has something that counters that, because I don't right now, nor do I have the time to research it. So Liv Morgan didn't qualify, but Roxanne qualified. Apparently, she is in the group. Maybe unofficially, what is it? Whatever it is in those biker clubs before you get your vest. She's a probie.
You're an initiate.
Yeah, there you go. She's an initiate.
Maybe it's like Carlito was. They never really said Carlito was a member of the Judgment Day. He was just there.
I think it's like JD.
JD's in it. He's on the shirt at least.
No, before that, he wasn't always.
Oh, yeah.
And then Damian Priest gave him his cut, and then he got it, and he was in. Mm-hmm. So, you got to know the Judgment Day lore. There's some. It started with Edge. And it'll probably end with Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Who was the last member under Edge, I believe.
Yeah.
Because, once
it was
Finn's
just Edge,
out,
Finn, and Rhea.
Yeah, once Finn's out, there's no original member of the Judgment Day.
Once Finn's out, Dom is the senior member.
Yeah, but he's not from the original ones with Edge.
He's not, but he'd be most senior out of everyone there.
Yeah, obviously, but I'm talking about the original crew. Yeah. Before he was dragged in into the Judgment Day. Albeit the most pleasant way. I'm not, it's not like Michael Cole and Heidenreich. It's not like they got Damian Priest to go get him. They got Rhea Ripley to do it. So it could have been worse. Anyway. So Liv Morgan, I think they're setting up a tag team. I think they're setting up the Bella Twins versus the Liv Morgan and Raquel. After laying her out, in the ring there. Mm-hmm. And Nikki says it's not like wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. She's here for a little bit. So maybe they'll win the tag titles and do a little run with that.
I know there are people out there that are fans that'll love it for the nostalgia. I'm not one of them. I'm just not.
Look, I'm just there for the entrance. All right, I'm there for Nikki Bella. She's the best at it.
Got the twirl.
No one's ever come close. There'll be people. They'll impersonate. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. But right now, that's not where things stand. Mm-hmm. Understand?
I like Liv's shake better than Nikki's twirl.
Look, we're all different people, and as a married man, doesn't matter to me really. But no, you can look, but you can't touch. You got to go with the classics. But yeah, so let's talk about the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, I guess. Right? Did I get that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, El Grande Americano, Seth Rollins, the winner. I was going to say Jey Solo Sikoa to Solo. LA Knight.
Yeah.
Pentagon and Andrade, the last two who I gave a snowball's chance in, Vince McMahon's briefcase. And let me tell you something. We were not disappointed. Like, this whole thing was pretty, everybody, I thought, at least, had highlighted their strengths. Solo got to show a different side of himself, I thought. We got the I Hate You Solo, which I think we had a conversation about that here during one of the booking sessions about Jacob. That requires basement booker historians, and even then, I don't know. So
we were here for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it might have been you. I don't know, but
could have been.
Either way, that's over. He was about to win. Solo was about to get the briefcase, but Jacob Fatu put the kibosh on that.
Well, listen, I hate you, Solo. Nah, putting you through. What was it, a table or a ladder? I think it was a ladder.
Yes.
And then we had Seth claim the power or the key to the power.
Yeah, because it's like, if it's the power, well, why do I want the world title? If that's which one's the power? And even Triple H is like, yeah, it's one step closer to the power. And I'm like, what is this power? Tell me. Why hasn't Gunther used this power? Is it because his wrestling is strong and he's not like Seth? And Seth needs that, but like someone else that's more skilled doesn't?
I don't know. Maybe it's just Seth has this plan. And all he needs is the championship. To get the championship, easiest way to do it is Money in the Bank. You know what I'm saying? It's, you like you said, he can manipulate. He can take his pick. He call his shot. He's got brawn and brawn, right? Heavy and heavy over his shoulders, saying, "Go take him out. Take out Champ. Champ's all busted up. Boom, another shot with the case just for luck. Hand it in. 1, 2, 3.
Boring.
That's what happens.
It's boring.
What, you want him to set up another triple threat with it? Or a fatal 4-way or something?
I don't know, actually. I'm still not sold on this, but apparently, like, Seth's getting new music. That's a rumor on the internet.
Oh, you've been saying that he needs to change his music because
no, he needs to. Because it's not. Stop the singing. He's a bad guy. You got to be against this. That's what a heel is for. Look, I get it. People are like, oh, what do you need a traditional heel for? He's different. It's like, because that's the stories. Okay, it's been the stories for thousands of years. Stop trying to change things to match your current day bullshit. Let's keep with what works.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's been working. You want to subvert your expectations or something? Go watch The Boys or some bullshit like that. This is about graps. This is pro wrestling. Good versus evil. Good guy, bad guy. Bad guy, not cool. No, screw him. All right? He's got to be a piece of shit, and he hates children, even his own, and he just doesn't care. He doesn't want you singing along. No music for you. You don't get to.
No good music.
Yes, nothing good. Save for Becky, man. Stop it. You want people to boo you. You know, they boo you out of respect.
Well,
You know, because they like you. They're like, well, this is what she wants. Let's just do it.
Becky's music is up there with Sami Zayn's as far as, like, you know, just getting you moving.
Yeah, and he used to do like Sami Zayn did for a little bit. He had different music, and it wasn't good. You know, and then they finally switched it back.
When he was dressing like Fidel Castro.
Yeah, when he was dressing like Fidel Castro. Dressing like a commie. It's like, you know how much that's done? The skeletons. Anyway, back to wrestling. A system that works. Now, what are we...
Andrade not winning. He didn't win it. There you go.
What?
That's what works. Andrade not winning Money in the Bank.
I mean, look.
He was the longest of all long shots there.
Yeah, I think it's in descending order. It's like you got Seth in the front. Gable or Solo would have been fine. And then LA Knight. And then it's like, yeah, okay, guys. Thanks for coming. You guys did great.
Yeah. As discussed last week, I would have done Solo at 2, Knight at 3, and then whatever for the rest.
Right. So I think, you know, what Seth was going to win. We all picked it, and it happened. Neither of us was going to pick Dom, honestly. So this was, with the exception of the main event, a clean sweep.
Yep.
You know, for the podcast. So, all right. Logan Paul, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, the Yeet Man himself, Jey Uso, Tag Team Chaos. Wow. You know, apparently the second to last night of Jey Uso as world champion. Rich to Riz, your thoughts on this tag team match, the run of Jey Uso, and what's next? And then I'll jump in.
Tag match, I liked it. I liked the way they did it. They had the surprise of R-Truth and or Ron Killings, whatever you want to call him.
He's Ron Killings.
Yeah, you had the little bit of dissension between Cena and Logan, like the will they, won't they get along kind of thing. Finish was what it was. This was our championship match, and congrats on winning. I was salty at the time. I
mean, look, buddy. This is just the most annoying thing. Thank you. I'm just gonna put that here. Stop flaunting the hard plastic. Thank you.
There you go.
All right. So, yeah, continue.
So, another part of the story, another wrinkle of the story was Jey Uso having a match Saturday, this tag match. And then Monday he had the title defense against Gunther. And Gunther had been saying that he's going to wear himself out. He's wearing himself too thin. He's over-yeeting himself. And
I keep saying, you can't be doing all that yeeting before you get to the ring all the time. It's going to blow you up.
Yep.
And it blew up his whole shit.
Famously, historically, plenty of combat athletes, they don't yeet before they have a big match. They just don't. They refrain.
Well, listen.
They abstain from yeeting. Jey was all over the place.
Because Jey Uso is an addict. He's addicted to yeeting. He can't stop himself. He needs to do it because it's like into his veins, the people. Dude, because it's like being a rapper and not knowing how to rap.
The
He
character
needs to
Drake the
yeet.
rapper.
The character of Jey Uso needs to yeet. He's a yeet fiend. He needs a program.
Fiend.
Okay?
Fiend.
And the yeeting at the end of Money in the Bank led to copious amounts of Wheatley vodka. So
Yup.
Cody Rhodes is responsible for this. Cody Rhodes, who advertises vodka. Cody Rhodes, who kids dress like. Okay? For his Wheatley wrapped tour bus. That's how much your soul is worth. I'm not one to judge.
All about
I
the
know.
Benjos.
This is all very harsh language. So read the bottom right there and notice the name that I used. I said Cody Rhodes. Okay? I didn't shoot. Look, characters. Right there. I'm pointing at it with my finger. Okay.
Yep, I see it. We didn't say Cody Raheem.
I didn't say
Cody
anything.
Rhodes.
No. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, the wrestler on TV. Okay.
Yes.
Off my high horse. So Jay, okay. So I just had to throw out there before I forgot that he might have been hungover. He might have partied too hard on Saturday into Sunday, and it didn't work out. He was too messed up from Saturday. He didn't work out on Sunday. You know, he thought he could dog it.
He was not ready for Monday.
Yeah, he's like, well, you know what? I slept him before. Made him tap before. I'll go back to that. And that's what that became, a battle of the sleep. And Jay went out.
Yeah. I feel like the way Gunther beat him, he had to. He had to sleep him like that. Because of how he beat Gunther. I still wish...
In front of his son.
Yeah. I still wish Gunther hadn't lost the way he did. But I feel like this just about got it back for him.
Yeah, it should be okay now.
Yeah. We've righted the ship. Now, you messaged me earlier with speculation of where Gunther's champ might be leading.
Goldberg.
If you want to go there. Yeah, I hate it.
Goldberg.
I hate it.
Yeah, so Goldberg could be coming back. And we've speculated on this. You know, and it could also be Sami Zayn, you know, who qualified for the King of the Ring. You know, he wants to be a world champion.
He beat Gunther for the IC title.
What if he beats Gunther for the world title? And then Seth Rollins cashes in on Sami Zayn. And then it's Sami Zayn trying to get the title back.
That seems poetic. But there's also this wrinkle you brought up. I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago. Maybe Ilja.
That's
could
right.
Win. Maybe he's the mystery man.
I think he's the
in
mystery
that men's
man.
bracket for the King of the Ring.
Yep.
And we know the wars that Ilja and Gunther had for NXT UK title and for the NXT title.
It could be that. It could be him. Or it could be Sami goes to war with Ilja for the final.
That I feel like that would be like a fight forever match. Like neither of those two are going to give up.
Which sucks because it's not going to happen, right? Because he's on the Raw bracket, technically, right? There's no way it would wind up where Ilja would face Sami Zayn in a final.
Yeah, this is the question mark is the SmackDown bracket.
Unless they move him.
Yeah, could happen. And it's not like Rusev's Wikipedia image has him with the green, the white belted TNT title with the green plate.
Oh shit, that's odd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Sami has qualified, as you mentioned, the King of the Ring, the only qualifier so far. There's going to be
I
more
think
tomorrow on
he
SmackDown.
might win. He might win. Eddie's surprised that Jay lost because it was on a
I
Raw, right?
was
You had to have been surprised.
I was surprised that they did it on a Raw, but I feel like it's a little bit of getting it back. You know, like he got the big job done at Mania. All right, so you can lose it at Raw.
I think it's time to do the Usos.
Bring him back.
Like, get it going so we get the Usos versus the Lucha Brothers. You know?
Get Jay and Penta tagging.
Because,
Like
like,
you booked.
Penta and Phoenix are doing great.
Mhm.
But if you think about it, wrestling wise, they've been having a lot of issues separately. You know, a lot of getting screwed out of victories and things like that. So might need to like unite to do better.
Yeah,
That
they're
kind of
winning.
thing.
They're winning the weekly matches, but they're not winning the big matches. They're not actually getting anything done. They're not progressing.
Yeah. I think there's a need to make the tag team title picture more exciting. You know, because I feel like the tag team title picture is pretty stale.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I understand they got to have two belts, but I think it kind of hurts with the amount of teams that you have in the first place. There's really not that many tag team matches. It's like no one wants to really be a tag team wrestler, you know, and the ones that do, it's like, you know, I like the Viking Raiders, but they're not, you know, the Hardy Boys. You
Right.
know, they're not Edge and Christian. You
Mhm.
know, they're not the Dudley Boys. You know, they're them. And that's not their fault. You know, it's just that I guess we're spoiled,
Mhm.
you know, what the tag team wrestling we had, really. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah, the
you know,
Viking.
you had the, you know, you had American Alpha, you know, Charlie Haas, Shelton Benjamin. You know, you had a lot of really good
World's greatest
tag
tag team.
teams.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's World's Greatest Tag Team. You know, you got like all these tag teams. You
Yeah.
know,
The what was it, Viking Raiders? They're not quite our cup of tea. I'm not exactly going to speak for you, but you basically said that. Like for me, the Revival is my favorite tag team right now. Period. Lucha Bros are going to be great. New Day's great. We know that. The Viking Raiders style, it's not like the kind of style of wrestling I like to watch, and that's just my opinion. You know, everyone has their preferences, but the you're right. The tag division is kind of still like they're not being featured. SmackDown, you got DIY, you got the Guns.
they got the Wyatt situation.
The Wyatts have joined that, but what are the tag teams on Raw? New Day's champs, Viking Raiders, or Alpha Academy are remind me, Alpha Academy, American
That's
Made.
the Creed brothers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember if they were Raw or SmackDown. Remind me.
I think Tozawa and Otis, they're on Raw.
Okay.
Gable's on Raw.
Okay,
They go in.
So American Made's on Raw also, but that's not a lot. It makes you wonder when they separated the tag titles. Was it last year's WrestleMania?
I think it was the year before. It was the one where Cody lost. Because it was
Okay.
the ladder match.
Oh, okay.
To unify the tag titles.
No, it's split them. I'm saying when they
Oh
split
yeah,
them
split
in
them.
the ladder
Yeah,
match, and they
no,
had the
yeah,
two
because Damian
winners.
Priest was in the match, and they had lost, and he cashed in that night. That's the night. That's the one where Cody lost.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, why did they do that? Like, it's almost like they have
I
to
think so. Wait, am I fucking? Sorry, go ahead.
long time. It's almost like they have to like recombine them again, have one set of men's tag titles, and they just go on both shows because there's not a lot of tag teams, and it sucks because tag team wrestling is its own.
No, it's the
niche,
one where
its own
Cody
product.
won, where they had the tag titles separate.
So last year,
That's the one.
WrestleMania,
Yeah, not the
40.
Vegas one.
Yeah, pre-Vegas.
The Cody victory Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn it.
WrestleMania, the story is finished.
Yes, because that's the same one where Priest won, right? Because he cashed in on Rollins. Or am I fucking up? And I was right the first time.
Is it? It might be the one where McIntyre cashed in and then Punk, yada yada. You know what?
No.
All I know is the tag
Priest
titles were
cashed
separated.
in on Drew McIntyre because Drew McIntyre beat Seth Rollins.
And then went to Blab at Punk. Who was commentary. Okay.
Yeah, Drew went to Blab at Punk, and then Priest came out.
WrestleMania 40. So.
Yeah, that makes sense because Punk was on commentary.
He was hurt.
And that's the one where Seth came back out to help Cody. Remember? Because he was already beat up. And it's like, oh my God, he's here. And he took a spear from Roman. Or a chair shot from Roman. It was something.
Something, yeah, okay.
But he was banged up.
Yeah, I have a little bit of recollection of that. I remember Seth being on the floor while Cody's music was playing.
Yeah.
All right, WrestleMania 40, when they split the tag titles. It's kind of like they got to put them back together. Because there's not a lot of tag teams.
Yeah, do it. Whatever. Like, make them travel between shows if they're going to do title matches. You know? Figure your shit out.
You could even do have a storyline edict where Pierce and Aldis are bickering back and forth because they can only have there can only be one number one contender at a time because the tag champs aren't going to be on both shows every week.
Right.
So like they're on Raw, and then maybe you get a tournament on SmackDown, and they're on SmackDown after they defend tag titles, and then back and forth like that. And they could do something similar with the women too.
Look, just put NXT also. All right, so let's get back in here. Okay, so now we know it's Ron Killings. You know, the truth has set him free to be Ron Killings. He cut his hair, you know, and he's serious now. You know, you got to put respect on his name.
I like it. There were rumors.
I'm apprehensive.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to wait and see the new stuff. What truth will you tell? Will you tell the actual truth? You know, will you say Triple H was bullshitting when he said it was all a part of the show? You know? Because his son put on his social media, "Stop the cap." So someone's lying. Or someone's also getting worked. You know, it could be that, you know, it's good enough to work your family. But I don't know.
Yeah. This is probably another one of those things where it'll be a while before we really know what actually happened. I think what actually happened was what we were told, which was his contract was running out. Maybe it was like I speculated where they're like, he's like, I want this. And they're like, well, this is what we want to give you. And he's like, well, I don't want it. It's like, all right, well, I guess we won't renew you, but we got another month or so on your deal. So we'll keep using you, but you should announce now that you've been released. kind of thing. And then, like, maybe after they heard the reaction and everything, then management's like, I tell you what, we'll meet you at what you asked for.
You project yourself into these people because you're a decent person. I think they're like TKO. They look at people at numbers on a balance sheet and like, listen, this isn't, I know he's a nice guy, but ROI, what's the long-term plan here? Can we get somebody younger or that can do, more shit that we use more and, it's not as much money. That's probably what it was. And then the social media came and it's like, well, this doesn't look great. Let's talk, and Nick Khan reached out to him. Like, he didn't take calls from anybody else. And then Nick Khan, they talked, and here he is. This, like, one final run, I think. Like, and that's it for the deal. I don't know.
Could be.
Go on his own terms. Maybe. But.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to what Ron Killings is going to bring to the table.
That's right. Bringing it to the table is Ron Killings. I hope it's not cringe, because there's a possibility like it could be. And I wonder who the first feud's going to be. Is it going to be like let's ease into it, let's have him humble like a Grayson Waller? Or like, a Theory? No, maybe Waller, because Waller's an asshole. Theory looks like he's coming around.
And that's another tag team that may or may not have just broken up.
Exactly. So these are a lot of questions to leave ourselves with until the next time.
Maybe they run it back with Cena because we saw
give him another match.
Versus Cena, but we haven't seen Ron Killings versus Cena.
Do Ron Killings versus John Cena. John Cena wins, obviously.
Yeah,
but it's it's not easy. Maybe Travis Scott helps. We'll see.
Bean.
Yeah.
Bean.
Yeah, you could have him bump for our truth. Hit him with the lie detector. If that's what you're doing. Dope. I don't know. Maybe you're doing another thing. What's Ron Killings' finishing move? Are you going to use the Ron Killings move?
I don't
remember
you what it was.
Oh, okay.
I was watching TNA back then, but I don't remember what it was.
Well, in any case, did you have anything else you wanted to bring up before we head on out? I think we did a lot,
Yeah, we hit on a lot of topics. I think we hit on all the main points so far this week. It is Thursday night. We have not clearly seen SmackDown yet, but we could talk about that on Monday during Raw if there's anything pertinent, or just on next week's episode.
So what about you, viewer, with Money in the Bank behind us? What's going on with all your wrestling? What'd you think about it? I don't know. You can put your own review in the comments. They get read. So, yeah, feel free. Like and subscribe for good vibes.
Yep. We know that we see the numbers. We know that more than half of you are not subscribed. Do us a solid. Also, thank you for joining us, but do us a solid. Hit that subscribe button. That helps out a lot. We're looking to get to 120 soon, so please do that for us. Let us know down below what you thought of Money in the Bank, what you think of the upcoming King of the Ring tournament, Queen of the Ring tournament, the end of the Jey Uso World Champion era, and Seth Rollins having the briefcase, which is the key to controlling the power, whatever that may be. What do you think the power is? Let us know down below. As always, Jay's got a party message.
Last time we were here, I made a humble request. I said we need to get to 105 subscribers, and we did. So I'm once again asking you to be the 106th or so subscriber. The only person that could do that is you. So the match of life is scheduled for one fall. So make it count.
Do what the man says.
Follow the bookers.